Hello and welcome to tomorrow's headlines. Today I'm your host, Robin Cunningham of Fireside Grace Ministries. So good to see y'all. We have a lot to talk about today, and I have some stuff that I need to get done that is behind. So I figured I would just hop on and do this stream a little bit early, like a little 2 hours early. So I hope y'all will forgive me that I'm coming at you a little early, but I have some relevant news ranging from some stuff about Bitcoin, Cardano, Ripple, Trump, and more. So stay with me here. Let's go ahead and roll the intro, and then we'll just jump right on into it. Hi everybody, how you doing? Welcome back. Remember to like, subscribe, share with your friends. We're starting to grow again on YouTube. It turns out that if you get a strike on YouTube, after your strike is up, you can go back to recording, but they slow down your algorithms. They tamper with it somehow. I'm not sure how, but we went from getting like 400 to 500 subscribers a month to we were getting like 40 subscribers a month. And then it's been like almost a year since we got that strike, and just now we've gotten to the point where we're getting over 100 subscribers a month again. It's like, try not to get strikes on YouTube. It's basically what I'm saying. But also, we stream on Rumble, so if you can't find us on YouTube or you don't like YouTube, you can always go to rumble.com/Fireside Grace and find us there. Okay, first order of business, we are trying to raise money to help take care of a family whose house has been destroyed in a storm. So if you would like to help contribute to that, we'd greatly appreciate it. Their electricity was knocked out. Power was knocked out. They've had to pay out of pocket. Just for the power was $600. Roof is destroyed. They bought a brand new bed before this. Now the bed is destroyed. Insurance is coming, but they're not going to cover everything. And what they are going to cover is not even enough to cover everything, like how much it would cost to replace the roof on the place. And they're not going to pay as much as what it's going to cost to replace the roof. So there's that, plus a bunch of other things that they've had going on with vehicles and stuff. This elderly couple on disability, fixed income. So we want to take care of our own. We want to take care of our church. So if you would like to help contribute to that, all of the information scrolling right here, firesidegrace.com/partner with us. Brandy's Venmo, Brandy-Cloninger. PayPal is Reformers Church, or you can find us as @Fireside Grace. Or you can send mail to 2145 North Josey Lane, Suite 116-501, Carrolton, Texas, 75006. So, welcome to tomorrow's headlines. Today, I'm your host, Robin Cunningham. I think that's everything. All of the announcements that we have to make. We are traveling across the country, and I am going to renew my license. I just haven't had the desire to do that in a long time, so I have to go through the whole process of taking the written exam and a road test again. I'm hoping to try and do that this week so that I can be driving. So if you are going to be in the Kentucky area, I want to say like Lexington, Kentucky area sometime next week, I think. Next week? Yeah, I think next week. I'm not sure. Let us know. We might be rolling through that area. I'm not 100% sure, but if you want to help pay for that trip, we're taking a dog to somebody that's adopted a dog. Our goal originally was to have a dog trained as a service dog for a disabled veteran that lives in West Virginia by that time, but we were not able to come up with the funds to do that. But that's something that we're still going to do. We're just going to try and do it all out of our what we have, which is not a lot. So anyway, it's not a lot right now. God can change things in a second. So anyway, our primary concern is taking care of this couple who's basically homeless right now. They can't really stay in their house. They're staying in the living room. There's no AC. It's hot. So if you want to contribute to that, firesidegrace.com, just let us know, a little note saying that that's what it's for, okay? All right, number one, I have this titled as Wanted Miracle, Lost Expectation. And the reason is because I was at church at Glory of Zion. First of all, I saw somebody there at Glory of Zion that is not me, that looks very much like me, and I don't know who it is, but maybe if all y'all are watching this and you go to Glory of Zion, if I show you a picture of that I took of this person, maybe you can say, "Oh yeah, he looks like you," or um, "Oh, I know who that is." Well, let me pull it up. Like, he doesn't look exactly like me, but he looks a lot like me. Y'all see? Doesn't he look like me? I'm not crazy, right? And like, here's the side by side. Pretty funny, right? I have no idea who this guy is. But if you do, let me know, because I want to get pictures with him and tell people he's my brother or something. A brother from another mother. But he's got the same face that I do. Hold on. Like, when I'm not smiling, look. Yeah, wait, see if we can get it there. It's hard. It's not very professional. Okay, here's the face. Ready? Is that funny? Is it just me or what? Uh, so if anybody knows who that is at Glory of Zion, he was baptizing people. Send them Fireside Grace at yahoo.com. Okay? All right. Trump indictment. Trump indictment is going to end poorly for the left. While I was praying, I had a sinking feeling in my stomach about that. And I felt like the Lord said that we needed to pray for Trump and for that indictment. And that after I prayed, I got a sense of relief. And it felt like, to me, our prayer had breakthrough, or at least my prayer had breakthrough, that we were going to see him win, and he was going to have the victory there, and it was going to bring up a lot of stuff. I almost felt like the case was going to be thrown out of court. Okay, now, here's the next thing the Lord said, and this is one of those unusual prophetic words here, where the Lord says something to me, and it's just kind of unusual because I don't get these kind of words very often, because it kind of sounds like like an old-timey prophetic word. But he's never spoken to me with the "Thus saith the Lord" and this, that, and the other thing, and with that old stern King James voice English or whatever. I've never heard Jesus have an accent, no matter what language he was speaking. He's never had an accent. I've heard him speak Hebrew to Peter and his wife, whose name was Miriam, actually, and she was pregnant. And and I know the Bible doesn't say that, but I know that because I met them. So I've seen him speaking to them. I've seen him speaking to other people. I've heard him speaking different languages, and he has zero accent. He speaks it perfectly in whatever language he's speaking to you. There is no limitation on that. It's pretty cool. And I've seen people like, Kenneth Hagin, and when he used to say the Lord spoke to him, he would speak like King James English to him. It's so weird, but maybe that's just what he wanted. Maybe that's how Jesus, he was expected to speak to him. He was like that, but I've never heard him have an accent. So anyway, there is fast coming a time where the world will cry out, turn back to all organic. That's the entire world, not just a select few people, okay? And the Lord is going to move, and he is going to destroy all crops that are genetically altered or modified. Now, this is a bad thing when we think about it. Like, do you understand how many crops, and I believe that this is a warning for the church to know that this is something that the Lord is going to do, that it's a forewarning to let us know in advance. But do you know how much of the crops that you buy are not organic? Pretty much everything that you get at the store, no matter what store you go to, unless it says organic, it's not organic. I mean, it's common sense, right? So if it's organic, it's unaltered, not genetically altered, okay? Non-GMO. And so you're going to want to look at this stuff and pay attention to that, and maybe just start to make the switch now. And I know it's a little bit more expensive, but honestly, you actually feel full when you eat something that's organic and non-GMO versus the processed crap that you get from stores and stuff. Brandy and I eat organic and non-GMO and all of that also, and you can definitely tell the difference. Like, you go to a place and you eat the processed food, and you come out and you still feel hungry, and you just want to eat more, and it's saltier, which makes you want more, makes you want to drink more, makes you want to eat more, right? But when you eat the organic stuff, it actually makes you feel full, kind of like when we were kids and we would eat real food that wasn't altered or modified, and we'd be full at the end of the meal, versus today where it's like you just don't get that same sense of sustenance, of nourishment. So anyway, continuing with the word, The pompous words of man that declare they have created a good thing that even God can't destroy will be the demise of their produce. In the same manner, as genetic alteration in human beings progresses, the Lord will repay their evil justly. It is a woeful thing for man to declare in his heart and actions that he can create something that is better than what God already did. And instead of repenting from their sin, they will work harder to create a more sincere, more sinful image of what they decide is worthy. They will manipulate and manipulate and manipulate more and more until the original blueprint of God's design is nearly unrecognizable. God will step in. Before the flesh of the fruit, the flesh of the animals, or the flesh of man is eradicated, he will intervene and deliver swift justice to all who rebelled against him and created their own likenesses in their own images. Their images, their altars, their city, their stars will all fall, and the rock of salvation will be he who topples the greatest evil that this generation has ever seen. Okay, so didn't I tell you that was a different word than what I usually get, right? It's like, whoa, what's going on here? Okay, so next the Lord said technology is going to rapidly increase. He said to me while I was praying that we were going to see thousands of years of technology that's developed and revealed within a decade and decades. In the very near future, like in my lifetime and your lifetime, if you live between now and 10 years from now and 20 years from now, that what we see right now is going to be so different. Like you wouldn't believe how fast civilization is going to progress. And there's a reason for that, okay? And he said, although many will shun this alien or foreign technology, it will not disappear. And at the coming of Christ, this technology will remain for us to use. Interesting, right? So God redeems the technology. How do I know he redeems the technology? Because some of the stuff that we use right now is actually reverse engineered from ships. Tablets, phones, stuff like that. How do you think Star Trek has these futuristic things like they had an iPad in Star Trek? They had gravitational fields or cloaking devices or whatever it was. But what it was it actually was something that created an extreme amount of gravity that pulled their light in so the light wouldn't escape, so it looked like a black void. That was their cloaking device, and that's what they do with that's what they found out that a supermassive black hole does, and why a black hole doesn't emit light is because there's a very dense, high-gravity star in the middle of the hole. So things like that. You think that they just did it and it was just prophetic? No, they're getting information. They're priming you and prepping you for what's to come. Moving on. The Lord said, preach the gospel to every creature. You are bought and paid for, but all will and all must hear the gospel of Jesus Christ preached. All right. Okay, the Lord said there's about to be a striking of satellites in space. You will see TV networks that have refused to preach or allow the word of God on their networks that will be destroyed, so that all that remains to be watched is Christ and him alone. So worldwide, the only thing people are going to see on their TVs, on their satellites, or whatever, is going to be Jesus. And if they don't allow for the preaching of the gospel, their satellites will be destroyed and they will have to spend billions and billions of dollars to repair and replace that. All right. The Lord said unexpected changes are coming to Nevada. Crime families in Las Vegas will be exposed, and voter registration reform is coming, as well as voting reform or ballot reform for 2024. All of these things are coming to Las Vegas soon. This is very interesting to see. The Lord said that the ERIC opting process will be rejected. Oh, the ERIC voting process will be rejected by several more states. And what the Lord said was that all states will stop using ERIC. I don't know how many states use ERIC. I have no idea. Maybe it's just Texas, but I know Texas is opting out too. Mitch McConnell will step aside, and he will make way for a new leader in his place. some very embarrassing news is going to emerge surrounding some bank padding from certain companies and lobbyists that also have ties directly to the Bidens and the DNC. So that's something interesting to think about. I wonder where that might be coming from. I wonder who has their hand in that. Okay, here's Bitcoin for those of you who are watching because you're here for crypto stuff. I don't usually ask the Lord about this, but if he speaks about it, I will let him speak. The Lord did show me that Bitcoin was going to drop, and I saw that it was going to go down very relatively low, but he didn't show me the exact price, but it was under, I don't even know, but it was like, here's where the price was at like 30,000, and then here's how far the price went down. It was a pretty good drop. It wasn't like a whole lot, but it was like a couple $1,000s. He didn't show me the number, so I can't tell you. I'm just trying to give you an estimate of what I saw. But what he did say was that it would go over $42,000 very rapidly. And how I saw this was I saw a check mark that went like this. And it was red at the front, and then it was green at the back. So it was like drop, 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 drop. So I don't know how soon that will be, but the Lord said rapidly, and usually rapidly is pretty rapid. Sometimes I give these prophetic words, and it takes 3-4 months for it to happen. Sometimes I give it, and it's the next day. So I don't know. All right. The Lord was telling me while I was in my prayer time today that a judgment on Ripple is going to be handed down very soon, but it will not look favorable to Ripple, and will lean towards favoring the SEC. There will be some good things and some bad things that come out of the verdict. However, an agreement will be reached that will open up Ripple to be purchased internationally and traded internationally again. The restrictions will be lifted. So what I felt like the Lord was saying was that they were going to discuss things and try and come to a favorable settlement before they announced what the judgment or verdict was. And that would be in the benefit of Ripple. But then Ripple is going to go after Bitcoin shortly after that. What I did see, let me tell you this. All right, this is the next thing that I saw. Okay, I saw a vision of Ripple lawyers walking into a room. I just knew that they were the lawyers that were representing the team, and then there was the leadership in the room also at like a conference table. Okay, and they walk in and they've got their suitcases. They got a stern look on their face, and they said, "Well, it looks like the judge is going to rule X, Y, and Z. ... So." The SEC wants to suggest a settlement. Their lawyers are wanting to suggest a settlement to present to you. And I felt like it was an acceptable settlement that would be released or reached, okay? But after this, the Lord said Gensler will be exposed for attempting to blackmail the owners of Ripple, and it will be exposed that he made secret deals with Bitcoin and XRP. And I saw Ethereum as well, but it's going to be more than that. Like, he was doing some insider trading. You're going to see some of this stuff come out to the news relatively soon here. And then, of course, last but not least is concerning Cardano. I haven't heard the Lord speak about Cardano in a long time, but he said Cardano is going to drop significantly. And as I was praying about it, I saw it being worth less than maybe half of its price. I think I went and looked to see how much it was. I saw in the vision that it was under 15 cents, right around the 15 cents marker. So I would assume that it's less than half, that the price is around 30 cents or was around 30 cents or will be around 30 cents when this happens. And then at one point I saw it drop very quickly down to 9 cents, but then a lot of people scooped it up at that point. And I felt like the Lord said that this would be the best time to scoop up some Cardano because it will go back up and grow exponentially. And that he's giving people a chance to be able to jump in on this because over the course of the next 5 years, it will be worth over $1,000. So this is just something to hold on to and just ask the Lord what to do with this stuff. Okay, let me just take a look at the comments real quick and then I'll wrap it up. Matthew Gotzi, hello. Haven't seen you in a long time, friend. Yo, why will the wealth transfer happen if Jesus said it's hard for rich people to enter into heaven? I don't know, guy. Why do people always ask me about the wealth transfer? Do you know what I believe? the wealth transfer is, I believe it's you giving what you're supposed to give, the way you're supposed to give, the way that Jesus says to give, and then you get that blessing from God. It says that, but it's not wrong to be, let me address this also. It is not wrong to be prosperous, all right? People have this thing where it's okay for a Christian businessman to be rich and own a plane, but it's not okay for a pastor to be rich and own a plane. It's a double standard, and people don't recognize this. People don't realize that that's what they're saying or what they're doing. So if I'm a businessman and I make $300 million off of books that I sell, that I wrote, that I published and made $300 million, which hasn't happened yet, are you going to be mad at me because I'm wealthy and prosperous because of the work that I did? However, if I were a pastor, you'd say, he's robbing our tithes. He's robbing our tithes. The reason that Jesus said that it's hard for a rich man to get into the kingdom of heaven is not because you have to be poor to get to heaven. Because if that were the case, you'd be poor in heaven. Because we pray for God's will to be done here on earth as it is in heaven, and there is no poor person. There is no poverty in heaven. So how can we pray and say, may your will be done in heaven, on earth as it is in heaven, and then expect to be poor, and then think that Jesus was saying we're supposed to be poor? When the Jews received Deuteronomy 28, the blessings and the cursings, it was considered a curse to be poor. A curse. And anybody who was poor and in poverty and stricken was cursed for some reason. So, another thing, when the Jews left from Egypt as slaves, Egypt gave them all of their silver and gold, jewelry, and they left and were paid for 400 years' worth of work. So anyway, all right, I am not doing a Q&A today, because in the past, Q&As have got me into trouble because I just say what's on my mind and the truth of the gospel, and people think I'm talking about them, and I'm not. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. Remember to like and subscribe and share with your friends. We are trying to raise money to take care of a family that's basically lost their home. They can't stay there. There's no electricity. The roof is leaking. Brand new mattress they just got. It was very expensive, costing basically all of their wages. Destroyed. Their electricity was destroyed. They're having to pay for that out of pocket to get that fixed. Damages to a bunch of stuff on their property. So if this is something that you would like to help us to meet the needs of this, if they're a disabled couple living on a fixed income. So obviously this is not something that's easy for them. If you would like to help us take care of them, it's firesidegrace.com/partner with us. All that stuff's at the bottom there. Love you guys. Be blessed. And I hope that this is a blessing to you. And until next time, bye.